Hello there, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Super Cast Brothers, the only Smash Brothers podcast where I rest my chin on a Cubone's head. Because it's the best Pokemon, and all y'all can fuck off with your wrong opinions. Wayofftrail, what's your favorite Pokemon? You're here today. You're a guest.
Hello, I am here and I am a guest today. My favorite Pokemon used to be Golurk, and then I just did my favorite Pokemon picker, and I think Hisuian Zoroark has taken the lead, as I really like its design a lot. So I think I'm going Hisuian Zoroark.
Okay, not a bad
Yeah.
choice. You had me, Zantok, by the way, that's my name. You had me go through that favorite Pokemon picker before, and I recently, and I've done that like every couple of years. I do that shit again. And I don't know if realistically Cubone truly would be my favorite anymore if I really thought about it objectively, but I refuse to change. Change is bad. We should never change who we are as people. We should stay the same forever. And Cubone is my favorite Pokemon. That's not changing. Crocodile, you get pretty close though. You're
It
cool
was
as
pretty hard
shit.
for me to actually be like, oh, I think Golurk isn't it. And it hurt my soul, but it's how it goes.
I mean, you still replace it with a cool ass ghost though. Jonno,
Yeah,
your camera absolutely just flashed green. That's
I
just gonna
saw
be a
that too.
thing we deal with.
I saw that too.
This is gonna be fun because you guys may remember from the last episode, Jono's camera pretty much died. Like in the recording, it just was like expired, and Jono bought a new camera, and apparently it's it's looking for greener pastures already. Fun, Jono. What's your favorite Pokemon?
I used this on like a 4-hour call the other day, and this did not happen.
Maybe it's
So that's
Discord
cool.
doing it. Like, do you see it happening on your
Maybe,
end?
maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, I did see that
Okay.
actually. So that was weird. Um, Choodle is my favorite Pokemon.
Get the fuck out. No, it's not. It's
Ew.
Pelipper.
Ew.
Yeah, it is.
We were just talking about
Pelipper.
Choodle a little bit beforehand because I caught some shiny Choodles not long ago. Shiny
Choodle
Dreadnought.
is a
All right.
Choodle is an ugly baby, and I will
Yeah.
stand by that statement. And I don't care
Mm.
who I piss off. Come at me.
Well, in a world full of magical, incredible beings, my favorite Pokemon is just a pelican. So I mean,
Yeah, I remember when you first
maybe
told
not
me
too
that. I was
far
just
off.
like, "What the fuck? Pelipper's your favorite?"
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't sure if you were trolling or not. Because let's be real, it's you.
I mean, every Pokemon, there has to be someone who has it as its favorite. And we
Simisear?
found the one Pelipper one. So,
Hey, I bet you there are more people that claim Pelipper as their favorite Pokemon than people claim Simisear.
Yeah, that's fair. The Simi line is a thing.
Yeah, like the Prevo forms, the Panseer, Pansage, Panpour, they're all okay. It's when they evolved, it's like I mean, I guess
They take a
Simipour
weird
is
hit.
all right. Simisage is supposed to be like the biker gangster guy, and then Simisear is just bad.
Mhm.
It's just bad.
Its official artwork is kind of funny.
Dog, what the fuck do you want? No. Yeah, I don't care if you
Or an
you are
episode.
not the one Simisear fan. You go like Mass Shift or something. Anyways, we're talking about Pokemon for a reason, kids. Because it's a Smash Bros. Episode. We'll get more into it later. But all of our characters we're talking about today, for the Smash Bros. At least, are Pokemans. Last season we had a not Pokemon episode with things like I don't remember what we had, but it was like other monster catchers, monster battles that we had. Like we had Suizo and Agumon and shit. Jibanyan, I don't remember what the fourth one was. There's something.
That was a memorable episode because you tried to gaslight me into voting for Suizo over Aku.
Funny eyeball! Come on! Actually, I think that was a battle royale. Now that I think about it, which is spoiler alert, what today is going to be as well. So, repeating tricks, sue me. Oh, Ori, that was the other one because of Tim Tim's. Like, yeah, Ori, that's in there.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
Freaking
Never. I don't
We
know if we're gonna go back to
we
that, are we?
I don't know. Eventually, maybe.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Well, it's an
How's
interesting
cassette
concept,
piece
but it
going?
just we
I
haven't
don't hate it.
played cassette
Yeah,
piece.
just the desire to play is not super high.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the designs were kind of you know, it's like when you look at fake mod designs that people are
Mhm.
designing, it's like some of them look pretty good, but a lot of them just like, okay, this is just over designed or generic or both. And I kind of feel that with a lot of Tim Tim designs, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, no need to bash any more on Tim Tim. Not that we dislike it, but let's get into things here. As we do with a Smash Dash episode, we're gonna lead off first some rate their chances. We've got 5 characters here. I had to replace one of them, Jonno, by the way, because Wayofftrail didn't know who the character was. I was like, we gotta fix. I'm gonna put somebody else on here. Sorry. We'll fit that character that you
Oh,
chose in a later episode. Whoops.
wait, what?
Sorry.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
had to be done. If he doesn't know who it is, it's kind of bad to do for a guest.
I don't even remember who it was. So that's great.
Ori. It was
It's all good.
Ori.
I've heard of
Oh,
the character. I just don't know anything about the games.
Yeah, it's one thing when like me or John doesn't know a character at all, but like with our guests, we're like, let's make sure that they at least know them. And I'm pretty sure you know the replacement because we talked about their franchise together. But we've got 5 characters here.
Pokemon.
We're going to talk about what we think about them as potential Smash characters, and then we're not going to be saying whether we want them or not. We're going to be giving them a rating 1 to 99% on how likely we think it is that they will be added into the next Smash game as a playable character. So, to kick things off, we're going to start with Tinkaton of
I was about
Pokemon
to say,
Scarlet and Violet.
you gave me a list of 4. I don't
I don't
have
know.
this 5th one.
That what I give you the list of is our Smash or Dash opponents, not our rate their chances. We don't tell the guests who's on rate their chances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's always a fun surprise for us. We like to
All
make
right.
it fun. So Tinkaton is one of the new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. When it was revealed, the fans were just like, "Holy shit! I want that." Popularity instant. Not every Pokemon when they were revealing him pre-game get that instant big old spike of popularity. Lucario was a good example of one that did that. But Tinkaton, people responded to immediately. They like their little pink gremlin with a giant ass hammer. Gives you some Amy Rose energy. Uh, Fairy Steel, it's also strong. I had one on my team when I was playing through Scarlet. Uh, I like the chances. The only problem, the big considerations are one, when is the next Smash game currently in development, and two, is Sakurai just going to be boring and go with the starter again?
Yeah, they tend to like the
Yeah.
starters, which is fair, just because everyone, even if you don't necessarily know Pokemon super well, odds are you may have seen the shiny, or not shinies, the starters of more than any of the other ones in the game.
Yeah,
So,
generally the starters are the most marketable, and at least with
yeah.
like Incineroar and Greninja, Sakurai chose them when their games were still in development, and all he saw was concept art. So the next Smash game was being worked on. I need to check when Scarlet and Violet was in development. But if it was being worked on when those games were in development and we don't have too many Pokemon designs, he may have just gone with a starter again. Which, guy, come on, please.
Can't wait for that Skeledirge reveal.
That'd be neat.
I don't know how that one would work. It's more like
That'd be
going to be
difficult. That would be
Quaquaval,
neat.
and I hate it.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because Sakurai hates grass starters,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, which is great. Sprigatito. I mean, at least Sprigatito would be a grass starter. It's not my favorite, but at least it's that. So I wouldn't be mad. Oh yeah, Meowscarada. That's the Evo name.
Yeah, and the mid form is Florigato.
Mm-hmm.
I think a
Then,
ton would be neat for Smash. It has its merit. I mean, merits. Nope, both fork.
Both.
Yeah, both work. It has its merits. It is a pretty cool one. I mean, and I feel like it would adapt well into the Smash universe. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to like come up with moves and stuff for because it has a weapon that would easily translate over. Um, yeah, it's pretty neat. Um, I could see it. It is pretty popular Gen 9. Um, I could see it having a chance.
I think I looked at Gen 9 popularity when we were doing our roster redux series last season. And I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure Tinkerton was like high on the list. I don't remember exactly where it placed. I'm pretty sure it was pretty high though. I also just checked. Scarlet and Violet released in 2022, and the last character for Smash Ultimate released in 2021. So even if the next Smash came out start development like the day after, they would have been deep enough development of Scarlet and Violet that we should not be restricted to just starters theoretically. That said, they may not know the popularity of things. But Tinkaton,
theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, Tinkaton, like, with Sakurai likes to have characters that are standout, that are different. Big ol' hammer, that's different. We've got characters with big ol' weapons. I guess Day to Day also has big ass hammer, but Day to Day is a big ass penguin with big ass hammers. Now we got little gremlin with big hammer. You could do something interesting even with its speed and weight. Like, it's like usually the smaller characters tend to be faster or at least of average speed. Tinkton could be a slow heavy that's also small. That's un, a not used speed to weight ratio that we haven't smashed yet. Speed weight size ratio, I should say.
Yeah.
Like there's Jigglypuff who is small and kind of slow, but Jigglypuff is also the lightest character.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple other random things it has going for it would be that it is a playable character in Pokemon Unite.
Yep.
So that could give it a little boost. However, I just kind of quick looked and seen how much it was in the anime. It is not a big player in the anime. Just
Sad.
Poppy has one, and it's like in like 2 episodes, I think. One major appearance and then a couple minor, and that's it. So kind of a mixed bag there.
Yeah. Uh, it's hard to tell what's going on with the anime sometimes. The anime apparently has been like doing more divergence in recent years because like Alola was a school story, and then after Alola, they had like this instead of going to Galar, they had like this big old journey with a new kid and then a tournament arc at the end. And now it's like, hey, Ash is gone. We have new characters now. And spoilers. Apparently, the next season they're aging the characters up for the first time ever. I
Whoa.
was like, what the fuck? A couple years, but still, like
Oh.
it's like what the hell? So who knows? Tinkerton definitely deserves more presence in the anime. What the hell, guys? Y'all are wrong. Just saying it. But apparently they used it in a music video for Beery Beery, whoever the hell that is, or whatever that is. Apparently that's the song. I don't know music, especially not other music. Ah, but I mean, Teen Titans, like my main points for it are popular outside of. I mean, technically outside of Jigglypuff, Fairy is not represented in Smash. Neither is Steel. Big ass hammer. It can use other moves like Draining Kiss, Flash Cannon, Play Rough, Brutal Swing. There's a good amount you can do with this little gremlin. Personally,
There's
I
a
think it
few.
has decent odds. It's the battle is going to be one. Is the next Smash game going to come out too late for Gen 9? Two, are we just going to get a starter? Which, if it's Meowscarada, I'll deal with it. If it's either of the other two, I'll be like, guys, come on.
I think Skeletor could be interesting, but I don't want Aqua Ball.
I just don't know. I just don't see how Skeletor would move around, run, jump, attack in a Smash-like setting.
Right.
Quackleval easily could, but also, no thank you.
Yeah, I agree with all of your points. There's not a whole lot I can add to this conversation besides maybe we'll get Tink instead.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, no.
Like, look at this freaky weird baby. Let's do that.
No.
Weirdly, I could see Tinka Tough as a possibility. Like if they were like, you know what, we don't want to do Tinka Ton, let's do Tinka Tough. But
True.
Tinka Ton, I think, is the obvious of the line here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're worried about the hammer being too big and it looking weird, then Tinkatuff is a good compromise.
Right.
Tinkatink is not. Tinkatink is Bam Bam.
Also, I like the idea of possibly having an assist trophy that's a Corviknight, and then if you're playing Tinkaton, like you have to go for it. You have to try and kill it.
I mean, every character gets like the little trailers, right? So assuming Tinkaton's getting the reveal trailer for Smash, assuming Corviknight is a Pokeball Pokemon in the next Smash, there would absolutely be a clip of Tinkaton going in there and attacking Corviknight, and that's when
Hitting rocks at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that, or like if it's not in the video, it's gonna be in like one of the promo screenshots because they like doing all the little pictures referencing things. Like for Sora, they have Sora attacking Metal Face to reference the guard armor. They love doing that shit, and that would absolutely happen. Even if they,
Huh.
even if Corviknight's Knight's not there, they might do it for like Metal Falco. That could happen.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Tinkaton's the first character revealed, and they attack and kill a Waluigi assist trophy to show that he's no longer a character, not a character in the game yet again.
Take
First
this
trailer
negativity
reveal.
out of my house.
Or it could be like Metal Mario and just get smashed by this. Like would be a kind of
Yeah,
a similar
I
vibe
could
to
see
it.
them just doing a little quick montage of just Tinkaton versus Metal characters. In
Hmm.
fact, here's a thought. So Smash Ultimate's classic mode, right? Every character has their own like unique characters they fight against with some
Oh
kind of like
yeah.
theme. All of Tinkaton's opponents are metal.
I like that idea. I like that idea a
Yes.
lot.
That is the Tinkaton for Smash. Come on. Make it happen. This needs to be a thing. That said, rate the chances, not Smash or Dash. So, what do we think are the actual chances of Tinkaton getting into Smash? And as a reminder, we do a 1% to 99% scale because nothing is guaranteed. Personally, I feel pretty decently about it. I mean, Gen 10 is seemingly at least another year away. It's going to be at least 2026 from what we can see, because typically those games get revealed or announced rather at the Pokemon Day presentation, which we've already had. And if the next match is coming out in the next year or two, who knows? Tinker's popular, newest gen. I'm thinking somewhat decent chances here. I want to say, oh god, I was leaning and everyone was like, ooh, I don't know if that's too generous.
No, I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be super high. I'm leaning on the fact that we've got usually, starters tend to take more of the shine, or a legendary if there's a suitable legendary.
I we've talked about Koraidon and Miraidon before, Jonno and I have. And I'm of the opinion that I just don't see them being super workable. You could.
Yeah.
We've technically done a moveset in a podcast episode that got lost. That happened. Uh, I would not bet on one of the legendaries. If a legendary gets picked, it's going to be
Yeah.
like Ogerpon.
Or Iron Valiant.
Not a legendary, but yeah, I would support
Oh,
Iron
well,
Valiant.
yeah, like something. I mean, yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
it
technically.
wouldn't surprise me if they decided to go with one of the paradoxes. But they
Ogerpon
also,
would be a good one though.
yeah, that's where like for Smash Ultimate, instead of Incineroar or Decidueye, I was wondering like, oh, maybe they'll go for an Ultra Beast like Lego.
Ooh, actually, Ogerpon would do really well because of the different masks.
You would think the masks actually don't change that much at all.
I mean, like it could be like your down B type, where it changes your character a little bit. Like, I'm like, I could see that being more likely than probably. Now that we say it, I think Ogerpon would have better odds than Tinkaton.
The reason why I'm saying negative on Ogerpons because it actually doesn't change his moves.
Right, but they could do something with it at least,
Maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and slot in a 40% though for Tinkton. I'm feeling pretty positive, maybe too positive, but the standout Pokemon from the most recent generation, and it's got high popularity, so that's where I'm gonna go. What about you two?
Okay. I guess I'll chime in here. Wayofftrail's point. Oh yeah. Wayofftrail's point about it not appearing in the anime very much does give me a little bit of a raise of the eyebrow. Other than that, I mean, I looked it up and I've been looking at like the polls for the most recent, like Scarlet and Violet's most popular Pokemon, and if you take out like Pokemon who are technically from other gens, Tinkaton's number 2 most popular apparently per at least one poll.
Who's number 1?
Meowscarada.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Grass starter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a starter.
Magic and also furry bait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And then it looks like third is Ogerpon.
Hey!
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I would say that those are the 3 most likeliest. I mean, what about who?
I said Petrarun.
Oh,
no.
102.
Yeah. I think I would roughly agree that those are probably the 3 most likely. I think there's like outside shots like Goldengo or...
Oh, I would like to see Goldengo. That would be a fun one.
Yeah, and Iron Valiant, as we mentioned. Walking Wake could be like a dark horse, but...
Palafin, Tandemaus.
Palafin Hero Form could be, maybe a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
We made a move
Zantok made a whole moveset for him.
We made a moveset for Palafin and Tandemaus last season.
Oh, okay.
It was a challenge. We had a random wheel that we just put 10 Gen 9 Pokemon on. Which like, whatever we get is what we have to make a moveset live on the podcast.
You got Palafin and Tandemaus.
Yep.
You got Tandemaus riding Palafin. That was the character.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. I'm going to go... because Meowscarada is also popular, and it's we need a grass starter. Starters are popular choices for Smash. That makes me waver on my thoughts for Tinkaton a bit. I'm gonna say 20%.
Okay. And way off. What are you thinking?
I was leaning toward 20. But hearing some of those other ideas, I might go a little lower. I might go 15.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm going to go 15. Again, with the starters, they're going to try and pick someone who I just think is more of a face to the series. And the fact that it hasn't really appeared much in the anime, I think does hurt it in this case. And again, not a starter, not a like special like Goldengo or Ogerpon or Legendary or anything like that. So, especially with the Paradox stuff too. Yeah, I'm gonna go lower and go 15.
Okay.
I'm going 15%.
That'll bring our average to 25%, which still puts Tinkaton in our top 10 currently for the season, which isn't really impressive because this is our 4th Smash episode of the season. But still, they made it.
Good job, Tinkaton.
Good job. For our next Smash Rate Their Chances, this is the character that I replaced Ori with. I don't know if you've necessarily played their game, but I know you at least have watched part of the franchise. Chris Redfield of Resident Evil.
I have played Resident Evil 5, so...
Perfect! He's the main guy of that game. We talk about Resident Evil a decent amount on the podcast, but it's mainly always been like either Leon, Wesker, a little bit of Jill. We've never actually talked about Chris at all. So I chose Chris to be talked about for Rate Their Chances today. So, what are we thinking? My general thoughts here, Resident Evil, it's kind of hard to pick like a singular main character, because there's kind of a big 3. Chris, Leon, and then Jill. And then you have Wesker, who is the primary villain through most of the franchise. And it's really between the 4 of them, I feel like whoever the playable character is going to be, if they ever get one. it's not going to be Claire. It's not going to be Ada or Sheva or Jake. It's either Chris, Leon, Jill, or Wesker, in my opinion. It can't be what's his name from the new games because he doesn't have a face. Kind of hard to put you in a crossover property if they won't let us see your face. I can't remember his name. The guy from 7 and 8.
Ethan.
Thank you, Ethan.
Could be his daughter who's like a superhero.
I mean, if she has a big role, especially a playable role in Resident Evil 9, I'm up for it.
Oh yeah.
But
I would be into that.
we only have base rumors of 9, and currently those rumors are saying Leon is the lead again. So who knows? But Chris, he's the lead of 1 and 5. I think he's at best an NPC in the rest. I don't know about the spin-off games for sure, but he's not in 2. He's not in 3. He's not in 4. I think he's just he might be playable in 6. I don't remember for sure, but I know he's not in 7 or 8. But he still has a presence throughout the franchise.
Yeah,
I know he is in because he has a different face in every fucking game.
He is in 7.
Yeah, no, I know he's in 7, but he's not the protagonist of 7.
Oh no, he's very, very minor role.
Yeah. He has a bit of a bigger role in 8, but it's not too much. It's kind of weird how they've been not doing a whole lot with him, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if that would factor into his chances in Smash.
Well, I mean, they picked him for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Infinite. So at the very least, Capcom prioritizes him. I don't know. Him and Leon can both borderline do the exact same stuff. I feel like it's just like whichever was more popular is one that's going to get in. Jill is a little bit more different just because they could pull on her weird mind-controlled segment where she's an acrobatic ninja-ish in 5. 5.
I don't know if I want to relive that.
And then Wesker is completely different. I mean, he could do a little bit of what they could do, but you would lean more on the monster stuff with Wesker. Chris and Leon they're guys with knives and guns, and they're heavily trained military men.
Yeah. You would be getting the same thing with Chris and Leon, and to a certain extent, Jill. You know, the guns and cannons and knives and CQC, and then maybe they throw a zombie.
That's what Jill does in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I think Leon compared to Chris, I think his design is better.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris is.
It's easy to say Leon's design is better when Leon has a consistent design. Not that I disagree with you, but Chris does have a consistent design.
Yeah, true. He's like got 3 different looks, but
yeah,
he also is just for Chris. He is kind of just stereotypical big buff dude,
stereotypical
buff
military
soldier.
Man.
Yeah, big buff soldier,
meathead. Yeah, he's definitely the least interesting of the 3 to me.
Yeah, right. I agree. Like,
I mean, he also was played by Robbie Amell, so
there you go.
Yeah.
So he does have a few things going for him. There is movies where Chris appears, so you have all those iterations of him too. He's been in some other games, including this one game no one's heard of, Dead by Daylight. So there's that.
Project Cross Zone, Teppen,
Marvel vs. Capcom.
What are those?
Right.
M10.
Let's see. It looks like he was also in The Division, or at least a skin for him. A skin for, I think, was also in Dead Rising for Frank to take the main character. He was in Fortnite.
Who isn't? Besides Nintendo, that's too easy to say.
Oh, hold on. He was a non-playable cameo for Nintendo crossover video game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as one of the spirit power-ups.
Oh, the spirits, right. I think it's probably the... I know they have at least 3 more. Let me see who else is in it.
He was in Dying Light 2.
List of spirits.
Oh, so he's been in
Leon, Chris, and Jill. Who did I fucking say? Those are the 4 spirits in Ultimate.
So technically, he's been in Smash. That does give him a little boost, in my opinion. Like he's there, he's there a little,
He
but also
tends
at the
to
same time,
he tends to be the choice whenever, like, the main choice whenever Capcom is choosing Resident Evil characters to appear in other properties. More often than Leon, Jill, and Wesker. Do I think I just he's just the most boring in my opinion. My main
yeah.
negative against him though is the fact that he, despite being the lead of one and the lead of five, he's really not in a lot of the actual franchise itself. To my awareness, and again, like, I only watched the main games and a couple spin-offs. I think he's more likely than Rebecca Chambers. But Leon is like the lead of two, lead of four. They just remade four. He's also a lead of six. And then Jill, one of the leads of one, lead of three, kind of gets screwed over in five. And I think she's. Is it C? I can't remember. There's another spin if I know where she's a lead in. I can't remember which one.
But Chris does punch boulders,
He does
so
punch boulders. The others don't do that. That's Chris's unique trait.
right.
That's his final smash. He punches a
That is
boulder.
his final smash, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
easily. I don't. I don't think the actually no. Let's be real. If a Resident Evil character is getting the smash outside of Wesker, their final smash has to be Rocket Launcher.
Oh yeah.
It's because that's how they all beat the. That's how you always destroy the final monster's Rocket Launcher. It's but maybe
Yeah,
it's a cinematic and he punches the boulder and then uses the Rocket Launcher.
Resident Evil 5 was my most played game of the Resident Evil franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I think 100%ed it at one point. Um, but yeah, and then of the two characters, Chris and Sheva, I liked Sheva more. So uh, I feel like of those four spirit things, I just feel like he'd be like last choice of the four.
He's definitely my last choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we
Not,
think his odds are of actually be of Nintendo and Sakurai choosing with input from Capcom, of course? But it seems like it's typically Nintendo Capcom's like, we want this one. It's either give them to us or give us a good ass argument for someone else.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
start us off this time if that's all right.
Sure.
Uh, Based on the fact that I was gonna give him really low odds, like single digits, but the fact that he has appeared technically in Smash in a way, um, but so has the other three, uh, with Wesker, which I think would be a fun character to play. Jill would be interesting. Leon's design's better. I feel like Leon or Chris just is a little more forgettable, and that he doesn't have as consistent of a design, which I think hurts him a lot. Um, I think I'm gonna go maybe 10%. I think is as high as I can give him, and that I feel like is being a bit generous.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go 10.
Jonno, what do you think?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little higher. You know, I think Resident Evil has a pretty good shot of getting into Smash. It's a series that's still relevant. It's arguably, you know, it's either it or Street Fighter is kind of the face of Capcom now. Um, and Chris is still prevalent. If it were not for your argument, Lester, of Chris, you know, being consistently chosen by Capcom to appear in spin-offs, taking at least minor priority over Leon and Jill, I would say it's going to be Leon, probably, you know, or whatever. And still probably, you know, I think with Sakurai's input, I do think Sakurai would lean Jill or Leon, for the reasons we mentioned, being more interesting, frankly. But given that Capcom influence, I'll again say 20%.
Okay. And I'm gonna bring us down, uh, because I'm thinking, like, first of all, we don't know if Resident Evil is gonna get in character in Smash. Capcom only got Kin as an addition in Ultimate. Capcom has a lot of good franchises to choose from. Resident Evil has three. I'm discounting Chris. Has three good characters, four main characters to choose from. I'll be honest. It's like, okay, which one of them is it? And I just feel like, at best, I think Chris is the third most likely. And it's kind of going to depend, like, if Sakurai thinks about Wesker at all. Personally, I think Wesker is the best choice. I think because he's more consistent with the franchise, and you get to go down the monster route instead of just like, oh look, another character that uses a gun. Cool. I mean, Wesker has a gun, sure, but that's not what he's known for. But
Right.
I'm just gonna go with 5%, bringing it way down. And that's gonna bring our average to 11.66% for Chris.
Seems fair. Yeah, and Wesker, like, I mean, Dead by Daylight did a pretty good job making him a killer, but you could use a lot of his, like, the abilities they chose for that as Smash things, then they just transfer way better. I think it'd just be more fun of a character than another shoot guy.
Yeah.
And Boulder Punch.
Fun bit of trivia. Season 3 is when we started doing Rate Their Chances. This is now Season 6. And in Season 3, we did Leon Kennedy for Rate Their Chances. And we had I don't remember who our guest was, but in that episode, we gave Leon 50, 70, and 40% chances. I don't know what the hell we were on that day.
Crap.
But there must have been something really... I think it was because like they were rumors that Resident Evil was going to happen in Ultimate. And that's probably why. And Leon is just the cooler character. That maybe Resident Evil 2 the remake of Resident Evil 2 might have been releasing right around then. That might have been what influenced us. But
yeah, man, you guys went way up there.
Oh yeah, Jonno said 70%. I'm just like, bitch, what the hell?
I don't remember that happening.
I'm sure you had a reason, but that was years ago. Next up, character number 3, Nintendog.
Perfect.
Here's gonna be my argument for the Nintendog. If they can give us Rob and the Wii Fit trainer, Nintendog is possible. Just controlling the little dog of maybe like each different alt of the different breed of dog. So you could have the lab, the toy poodle, the French bulldog, the Shiba, whatever. And it's like you have like one move, so like it's gonna like bat a ball forwards, or it just goes leaping onto a toy or something. It's like very non-normal attacks. It's just like you're just basically playing with a dog, and it's just having to like incidentally be attacking people. I think that's how you make a Nintendo work.
I don't see this one happening for a few different reasons. The first one being Nintendogs had its peak like a couple months and then gone. It kind of was like, oh, that's funny, virtual dog. But I don't think really it has that popularity anymore. That I think people would be like, oh, cool, Nintendo got in. And I feel like there's a part of me that wants to say they might get some interesting rating issues if you like, no, that's literally just a dog. That's not even a cartoon. That's a dog. And we're hitting it with swords and guns and things. I feel like there's going to be a few activist groups that might not be thrilled, as well as the rating board might not. And I feel like Nintendo would not want to deal with that can of worms. But I do see your point of it. Oh, look, the puppy's playing, hurting enemies accidentally. Oh, that's cute. I don't see it happening.
I remember during the Brawl era, on Game FAQs and other message boards, there was a Robo Nintendog that gained popularity as a character choice among speculators, because it could do all of the fun things a Nintendo could do without being a real dog. They're like, oh, it could robotically piss on people. I was like, what is going on? It was like 100+ pages long. I remember this thread.
What? I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that way off. I love that Nintendo is being brought about in this episode because I think that is my favorite argument for or against any kid we've ever had in Rate Their Chances. So thank you for the entertainment and also
Yeah,
let's be real, some realism.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got me with that. I was like, okay, Chris Leon. Okay, yeah, fair. Tinkerton. All right. Nintendo. All right. Hold on.
Boy, you should see some of the others we've done in other episodes because this is not the bottom of the barrel that you think it is.
Oh,
Gonna do the baby from Imagine Babies.
Okay, no. I would rather
Gonna
go
do
with
that
Bokute Upa.
babysitting mama baby controller for the Wii. Remember that?
Jesus Christ, I sadly do.
my God.
Like I do disagree with some of your arguments. Largely around like it's just a dog. Duck Hunt. It's a dog and a duck. Yes, they are more
Yeah.
cartoony, but
I
they
thought
are
it's the cartoon
explicitly
duck.
just a
Yeah.
dog. And Nintendogs, like on the cover of the art of the games, it is just like a real photo of a dog. But I mean, it's a cartoon dog in the game. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I disagree a bit, but I do get that. And then the other part I wanted to make mention on, you're saying like it had its popular 3 months. I was looking up the release dates for the games. The first 4 games, because yeah, they pulled a Pokemon, but with 4 things, all released in 2005. Uh, Chihuahua, Dachshund, Labrador, and then Japanese only. Sorry, Wayofftrail was the Shiba Inu.
It's not fair. I have a Shiba. This is rigged.
I know.
It must be in Japan. Lucky you.
Yeah.
And
I should
then
get him in here.
they also released a little bit later in the year a version called Best Friends, which I'm not really sure what that one is. And then another one came out for Dalmatian.
Hmm.
Oh, I think Best Friends was a bundle of like all of them in one or something. And then several years later, 6 years later, 2011, we got Nintendogs plus Cats. And despite it being called plus Cats, all 4 versions were still just based off the dogs, where it was French Bulldog, Golden Retriever, Toy Poodle, and then once again, Japan
Yes.
only, Shiba Inu.
I enjoy this animal.
The cats? You enjoy cats, or
The
you
cat,
enjoy
the
cheese?
cat on his shoulder. The
Oh,
Shiba.
that's what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
He
Oh,
he doesn't
shit.
like to be held like this in front of the camera. But look at his face. He doesn't want to get hit by Pikachu.
But
No.
he wants to hit Pikachu and bite Pikachu.
Yeah.
You know
And,
I'm
Such
right.
a good boy. Takumash. He's like, I don't like
Beautiful.
this. I don't want this.
I do agree. The odds are pretty shit for Nintendo, though. Like, come on. Like, I think there's a small Sakurai wildcard factor, as I like to call it. And I see the vision on how it would attack, and it's very much the incidental kind of damage. But Jonno, what do you think?
1%.
Oh, I thought we were gonna. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, Wayofftrail again gave a very spirited argument. There's not a whole lot to add from there, unless you want to talk about the robot Nintendo too.
I don't.
1%.
I hate tying with anyone for their rating, but I also was gonna go 1%.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to go 1%. I don't think it's 1%. And there's some crits that we've given a 1% chance to that I think we absolutely have higher odds for. The Trapper got 1% in a previous Rate Their Chance, and I think Nintendo has much better chances than the Trapper. Not by much, but much better chances. I'm going to go... I'm going to rig this slightly. I'm going to give a bigger Sakurai wildcard factor than I normally would.
Jonno already looks upset before you say your answer. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I'm just imagining.
I am going to say
give it like an 8%.
4%. That way it
Okay.
averages
Ooh.
out to 3%.
Wow.
Wait. No,
That
it doesn't.
doesn't
I'm sorry, it
seem
averages out
right.
to 2%.
I was about to say, I'm like, hold on.
Then it's above all the 1% crew, but it still ties with Sarah Kerrigan and Infernape and Springman and a few
Wow, it's funny
others.
if I wish I had a little bit more odds, but wow.
Yeah, I mean it's because it's old and it's like, do we need a
Oh,
third fire starter?
oh yeah, that's fair.
If you do,
Yeah.
it's Skeleturge.
That's I think I say Blaziken. Just give us the
Oh,
Captain Falcon Echo Fighter.
Play Coco.
and by the way, now thinking about it, when we were talking about the Tinkaton stuff with Legends VA
Mm-hmm.
being announced, I feel like those starters have better odds than actual Gen 9 Pokemon.
Hard to
It's like a
say because we
yeah,
don't know like how their evolution is going to be. Like,
right.
are they
I
going to get new
wish that we can
types
get.
like
Yeah,
Arceus did? I need more
I would
information
love
on the
for
game.
alligator. So why not?
Water poison. I'm calling.
Depends. Maybe there's a fun regional variant that could work really well. That's already like
True, and that we just don't know about.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Next up though, a character that Wayofftrail, you know them a lot. I know you do, and I'm very curious to know what you have to say about the Stardew Valley farmer.
Okay.
This is why we keep rate their chances of secret.
The novel look on his face.
Huh. All right. I got to think about this one for a second.
All right, Jonno, do you want to start us off then?
20 plus years ago when Nintendo Power was in its prime, I remember reading. I loved reading the letters to the editor at the front of the magazine, and I remember there being a small but passionate fan base for Jack for Harvest Moon. That whenever they would go out and say, "Oh, we want your," I told the story before where I was like 5 and said, "I want Pac-Man," and it got published. Some folks said Jack, like more than one person did, and they're like, oh, he could use his shovel, his vegetables, horses, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well, Harvest Moon is still around, but it's kind of seen its heyday, and there was that weird rights thing with Story of Seasons and the swapping of the franchises. Stardew Valley is really, I mean, it's an indie title, but it's taken some of that thunder. At least here in the West, the perception is, Stardew Valley is a pretty popular game.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about
Yeah.
like as much as we've like mentioned indies on this podcast, we've never once considered Stardew Valley, and honestly, I kind of wonder if we should because of its genre, nothing touches Stardew Valley in the indie scene. I don't even
Mhm.
know if like the big games touch Stardew Valley in terms of popularity. Animal Crossing, but does anything else get close to either of them? I don't know.
Right. And the thing is, Stardew Valley like has inspired the phrase Stardew like for game types. Like
Mhm.
it's a whole thing. It's like it's Stardew like, and you're like, oh, that means you kind of get an idea. But the fact that it has created this genre almost, at least there were other games obviously before it, but it excelled. So like 99% of people who play it love it, and then there's Lister. So
Sure. I didn't enjoy it, but I'm not a farm sim life player.
But
Get rid of
yeah,
the fucking. You get knocked unconscious outside your house because you took too long getting home, and they steal your money. Get rid of that, and maybe I'll like it more. Get rid of the energy system.
go to
I'm bitter.
bed.
I'm a bitter old man.
Anyway, but yeah, I could see like attacks and stuff being very similar to Villager, where there's you got your tools and stuff. However, you do have swords. That is something like there is a mine aspect that you do fight enemies. So the Stardew Village, the farmer does have offensive capabilities and magic as well. There is not like super extreme magic, but like there's some warp stuff you can do that could be tied in there. I was trying to think when you said this. I'm like, oh, what other character would make more sense than just the villager or the farmer? I'm like, eh. But then I thought about it. I'm like, really, all the rest of the villagers are like
Magnus.
just they're just villagers. Yeah, Magnus might be, but even then, like I was thinking like I don't know if I'd pick the villager or the farmer, but now thinking about it, I'm like I guess he kind of or it would be kind of the only option. If you wanted it to be somewhat still doable.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you could have the skins be of some of the different characters, but
Yeah,
I think more likely it would just have to be him or them, I should say.
like
And
three
then
three
considering like
male, three female.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and like there's like the picture I have up here, like there's not really a good picture of just the avatar character, so I'm using like just like the picture of, like the character creator, and there's like a lot of different hair and shirt and pants
Mhm.
options for their customized characters. Just like pick the default one as the main, and then just have 8 or 10 other variants of different clothing and hairstyles.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some normal ones, some like bright, like green hair, and some of the wilder ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them's wearing Mayor Lewis's shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Zantok
to
didn't
wear
get that.
shorts in the
Zantok didn't get
sun.
that far in the game.
No, I know somebody loses their pants in somebody's house, and it's like,
Yeah,
sir,
it's the
why are you
mayor.
here?
It's the
Aren't you
mayor.
married? Why are your pants in another
No,
lady's house?
he's not.
Oh no,
But
but
we all
she
know what he.
is.
No,
No?
she's not. But
Oh,
we all know what they're doing.
just
They're
And there's a
perfect.
cut.
conserving
And there's a cut.
conserving
Like
laundry.
there's a secret cutscene you can get later in the game that really confirms what they're doing.
Oh,
Anyway, how? So I could see where like it would be a good game to get tied into the Smash universe because of its popularity. Like you would get like fighting games and farming games kind of are a little bit separate of path when it
they're
comes
not in the
to
same circle.
not really in the same circle, but if you had a Stardew farmer in, you might get a couple to branch and try it out at least. So, I can see it. And with the person who made Stardew being like one dude, he might be totally on board for it. So, it really would depend on him.
Hmm.
I don't see why he wouldn't be on board for it. I mean, he's going to get paid a buttload for that.
Right.
And then more
I
people are
mean,
gonna like people will go to Smash and people will also go to Stardew. And Stardew, its popularity is insane. The man keeps saying he's gonna stop updating the game. He's not.
he
Like,
keeps doing it.
and he's also supposed to be working on his other new game, but he keeps getting
Haunted
distracted
Chocolatier.
by doing Stardew more stuff for Stardew. It's like
Yeah.
Right. And like there's a bunch of good mods for Stardew that like has now Baldur's Gate is getting jumped into it.
yeah.
Which I'm actually tempted. But uh with his like maybe they could coincide something where maybe one of the skins is even whatever the main characters for Haunted Chocolatier, and they could coincide and it could be a good for both. So, you know, yeah, I could see it.
Hmm.
So then here's the
Then
question. Oh no, go on.
then we just round about to the same argument. Do indies have a significant chance in Smash? Period.
Yeah.
And then and there still are those other contenders too. Your Shantae, Shovel Knight,
Dave
Hollow
the
Knight.
Diver, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost put in Dave instead of Chris.
Oh,
I was so
Dave,
close to doing it.
Dave, I love that game.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you were bringing up the indie argument because thus far, the only appearance that indies have in Smash are Shovel Knight Assist Trophy, a few characters like Shovel Knight and Shantae, and Sans have Mii Fighter costumes, and I think
Hmm.
I know there's a little bit of indie music that got added in with those. Shantae got music, Sans got music. I don't think Shovel Knight did. Cuphead did, but Cuphead's not really indie anymore. He got bought by Microsoft. It's a weird situation.
Like
Um,
Minecraft.
or
Yeah.
is he actually owned by them, or they just published the game? I don't really know the details. But that's the extent that we've had for indies in Smash thus far. And so the question's like, if indies are going to get into Smash, if that barrier is going to get broke down, who's gonna do it? Opinion from us thus far has been it's probably going to be like a Sans or Shovel Knight is kind of our thoughts. There's quote from Cave Story that could also be in that mix, and then the farmer from Stardew. I I think they're a dark horse in this kind of a
Mm-hmm.
situation. I think like once the barrier is broken, I could see them having better chances. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I see them being the first indie that gets out of the Smash though.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since we
Yeah,
already have the Animal Crossing builder. If we didn't, I might
yeah,
think about it more.
yeah. Only because they're Sakurai has pre-established relationships with Way Forward, with Yacht Club Games, with Toby Fox. So yeah, there's a precedent there. Like Sakurai invites Toby to his house and they just play Smash together for hours apparently. I could see that happening with Eric Barone, I think his name is, the Stardew developer dude. Sakurai would invite him over. He's like, "Hey, let's play Stardew and Smash and see what can happen."
Yeah.
Like there's a precedent there as well. I think it's unlikely to be the first. I agree. It could happen, which is more than I could say for a lot of indie characters.
Better us than the Trapper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just almost everyone has a better chance than the Trapper. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
would like for the Trapper and Nintendo to be revealed in the same trailer.
I never looked up the creator of Stardew. He's still kind of a young guy.
I just seen him be called Concerned Ape is all I've
Yeah,
seen.
Concerned Ape is his main name. Yeah.
All right. So, what do we think are the actual chances for the Stardew Valley Farmer? I'm pretty low. Uh, indie, we don't have any indies yet. I think there is,
Mm-hmm.
again, like that little bit of like there's dark horse energy. I'm not going to give him 1%, but I'm gonna go with 2, and I could be argued to go to 3, but that's as high as I would go.
Yeah, I was flirting with 3 or 4, so I'll say 3.
Okay, way off.
I kind of forgot about the whole there's not many indie games in Smash. And I
None.
was kind of going like 10%, and then and then you guys brought that. I'm like, oh, right. Stardew would be, I think, a big hit indie choice. And
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
like you said, would it be the first one that they would do? Probably not. Well, I mean, if they were to do an indie, if they were to introduce indie games, I feel like they would do at least like 3 at a time. Like it'd be like here's 3. And I could see Stardew being one of those 3. I don't know if it'd be the first one. So you know what? I'm gonna go a little higher than you guys. I think I'm maybe just because I like farming sims, but even then I'm kind of like, oh, I just like to take the time. But Stardew really is a cut above a lot of farming sims. So I think I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna go with a 7%.
Okay.
I wish I could go higher, but because of the indie factor, it has
Yeah,
to be lower.
All
yeah.
Sadly.
I'm always torn on the whole indie argument because there is also always, I feel like to a certain extent Smash fans place indie characters on a higher pedestal than perhaps they actually
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Especially certain people that
Because
we know. I'll
right.
call you guys out.
There will there will always be a big major company franchise that may take precedent over it.
Mhm.
Resident Evil, Tales, Soul Calibur.
Dark Souls.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big hit AAA names, but Stardew is a pretty big name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I do feel like and of all the farming sims out there, especially right now, it's number one farming sim. Everybody
Oh yeah,
compares every
yeah,
other farming sim to Stardew. Even
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
existing franchises get compared to it.
At
Yeah.
this point, I think Stardew has a better chance than Harvest Moon does,
Yeah,
or Rune Factory.
You
yeah,
know? Yeah.
easily, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know what companies those are, but I feel like Stardew
Not
is
to me.
more talked about easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know if I get to say it, but that averages out to 4% between the three of us. And now it's time to
Mhm.
talk about our final rate their chances character,
Oh, baby.
Zygarde. Another Pokemon! And the
Oh.
Being
star,
the
likely,
instant, like,
potentially the
face of
star
hot.
of the upcoming Pokemon Legends
Uh-huh.
Z to A.
That is a big
Previously, one
factor.
of the three main legendaries of the Kalos region. Pokemon Z got canned. We know it was going to exist, but it got canceled in favor of just pushing forward on Sun and Moon. And then we ended up getting Zygarde stuff in Sun and Moon, or was it Ultra? I don't recall. Whichever.
Sun and Moon.
With getting the Zygarde cores and building up to 10% Zygarde the dog, and then 50% Zygarde the big old snake, and then 100% Zygarde the fucking Gundam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now Pokemon Legends Z to A, where it's not confirmed that Zygarde will have a big part of it, but it's called Z to A and the logo. I don't need any other argument for
Yeah,
the
come
fact that
on.
it's going to be
Right.
important. Come on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the arguments, the harder arguments with Zygarde is that is a very unique body shape. How do
Yeah.
we make that thing move? I think it's doable, more so than Koraidon and Miraidon, which some people will disagree with me on, I'm sure. But there's also its other forms. I could see there being some kind of mechanic where you swap between 10% and
Mm.
50% form. Maybe 10% is like much weaker, both attack and
Fast.
defense wise, but very fast. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it just can't think of the word I want to use. But then 50% form, more damage, more defense, but slower and easier to hit. I can see
Mm-hmm.
them doing something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then obviously the final smash is going to be turning into its 100% form for one of its exclusive moves that it has. It's got like 3 or 4 signature attacks. So go to Gundam form and do one of those. There's your final smash.
Right. Or another possibility would be the Zygarde cells kind of just appearing on the map in random spots. And just as you're fighting, you just occasionally, like, you just pick them up. And then you have a little bar that fills up. And then once you get that bar filled, then you go into the ultimate form.
True.
Would be kind of a neat idea, too.
Yeah.
Um, could be
I could also
possible.
I could also see if we get a new stage based on the Kalos region or even Sun and Moon, where they have something like that, where there's just like Zygarde cells all up the map, and you just touch them, and then eventually Zygarde will be summoned as a stage hazard if they go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you think 10% Zygarde would fight like he can swat a ball and then chase it?
I didn't think about the fact that we had already talked about Nintendo. Somehow that did not come across my mind. But no.
And yet, weirdly, I don't have the
Um,
same arguments I had against it this time compared to last time.
yeah, it's like, this
But
is a
it's just
dog
a
I can see
dog.
Mario beating the shit out of.
This is
Right.
a
Mario
dog
can
I can
pick
see
this one spot,
biting a
yeah.
Pikachu and
Right.
dragging it
This
across the floor.
right. This one I can see being shot
Bloody.
by Seriously Samus's gun. It's fine.
By
Yeah.
Chris Redfield's gun, even.
Yeah, but this one
Yeah.
feel.
This one I could see being punched into a boulder by Chris Redfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Maybe the farmer, farms Zygarde and puts it in the ground.
Yes.
God.
You're going to get the fruit growing out of its corpse.
Oh, I would be intrigued by this.
Hmm.
Let's make it happen. Yeah, you
This is how we
can
put
that
Joja out of
that's
business.
Another thing it does have going for it, it was a spirit
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
Ultimate already. So, that does,
Just
I
like this,
think,
yeah.
that does
Just like the
have.
Stardew Farmer is going to make it a spirit, apparently. Sorry.
Let's see. Was it in the anime much? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It
Yeah.
had a whole ass segment of the anime in the
Yeah.
X and Y. Like, they actually called it like X, Y, and Z when they did that season of the anime.
Yeah, he's got quite a few appearances. So
Yeah.
That's
Zygarde got
good.
fucked in the games when it came to Pokemon Z was supposed to be a thing, but they've made up for it. Sun and Moon, the anime, Z to A. They wanted to do things with Zygarde clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't ever really. I don't think I've ever had it in my any of game. I don't know if I ever had any of it, but it's kind of when I was like, oh, cool. I like the dog version the best. I think the dog looks the coolest. I like the color scheme, but all the forms are neat looking.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the dog is it's the collar that just like extends out. It's just like
I
floats
kind of like
here.
it.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it looks like it's running, so I kind of get it.
Unfortunately, when they went to 3D models, and they just show something standing there, and the thing is just like in
Oh,
the air. Yeah.
right, true.
What's next? A Pokemon with a tongue scarf?
Yeah, imagine. Gross.
God, don't get me started, please.
What's next? Flaming Tony the Tiger?
Anyways, Zygarde. What are we thinking? I'm thinking it's weird because we know Z to A is coming soon. And that's absolutely would be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
We only have one legendary in Smash so far. We have no dragon types, we have no ground types. But they also don't seem to really care about balancing types in Smash.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it truly doesn't because there's no like I would like to see more variety, but
It's no more fire types, please.
at least not a fire starter. Like, hey, and Darmanitan would still be cool. Fuck you. That's a yeah. No, I wouldn't pick Darmanitan over a lot of other things, even though I love it.
Litwick.
I would pick Darmanitan over Litwick. Now, Chandelure is a better argument.
Oh
Litwick,
yeah, okay.
come on.
Very popular, actually. I could see it.
Zygarde, I think the chances are pretty good. I'm not sure about compare the Tinkaton. I feel like because Pokemon, there being over 1,000 of the little fuckers, it's hard to compare a lot of things. I feel like of my rating, I think I'll put them on roughly the same playing field. The popularity and most recent game being balanced against popular legendary with unique like both of them have unique attributes to them. It's like most recent game versus likely important element in an upcoming game.
Right. Yeah, and I do. I think that they would give precedent to Scarlet and Violet over Z to A, even though Z to A is a newer game, because Legends versus Mainline.
True.
Even though I vastly enjoy Legends Arceus versus recent Mainline games.
But you wouldn't put an Arceus over Cinderace, Inteleon,
Well,
Rillaboom. Maybe I would too. Maybe Toxtricity.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Woo, we saved it.
I love the idea of Zygarde. If they could pull it off, like I love the idea of Zygarde being playable. Having the form change would be really interesting to see how they could pull it off.
Yeah, I've wanted to make a move set for several years. It's always been like, okay, I have to figure out its transformation mechanic because it can't just be a normal transformation mechanic. I feel like there's got to be something to it. It's not going to be Zelda to Sheik where it's just like, oh, we have different moves and there's like a speed set and like I want to do something more. I just don't know what.
Yeah. Something that makes it a very technical character.
Yeah.
As for chances, though, I'm gonna go a little lower than Tinkaton is my gut.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm gonna go higher than what I said for Tinkaton.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna be a little generous. I'm gonna say 15 for Zygarde.
You're gonna say 15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you, Way Off?
Because of Z to A coming out, if it was and it being a relatively it big in the anime, and it will help boost their sales. They gotta think of it also like, sale wise for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help boost sales. I'm gonna give it 25% for him.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Yep.
I'm going to stick to my same number I did for Tinkaton. I'm going to say 40%. I think they're roughly equal to each other. And that's going to average out to 26.6% chance, which, funnily, is just 1.6% higher than Tinkaton in our average.
Nice.
And that is all of our 5 Rate Their Chances characters for today. 3 of them made it into the top 10 of the season.
Hey.
Will they all
We haven't
stay
been
there
writing-
at the season's end? I don't know if I can know.
We have not been rating characters very high this season.
No. There's been a lot of single digits.
Imagine giving a 1% to something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sargon, we totally didn't give him a 1%.
I mean, I rated Nintendogs 1%, so I mean.
oh, I mean, like Sargon from Prince of Persia got like 1% from both of us.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nintendo got 1% from both of us.
From you two, sure.
Yeah.
All right, though, it's time for the main event. It's time for our Battle Royale Smash or Dash against 4 Pokemon. Which 4, though? Well, they're in the title, so you can just read that. Or, if you didn't for some reason, we're going with 4 rodents. 4 standard Nintendo or Pokemon Route 1 normal types.
Oh my god.
We got Rattata. We got Bidoof. We got Bunnelby. And we got Lechonk. So
3 rodents and a pig.
yeah. I mean, a pig's a rodent,
RBBL.
Right? I don't know.
RBBL.
So it's a Battle Royale, so we're going to discuss all 4 of them at once. And at the end, we're going to pick 2 of these 4 that we would add to Smash. And we thought it'd be funny to just get these 4 normal ass early game Pokemon, because who ever talks about them? Nobody. So let's do it.
I'm so thrilled to talk about these things.
I bet you are, you little freak. So, Rattata, I'll just start off with each of them here. Rattata is from the Kanto region, primarily. Purple Rat becomes Eradicate eventually, but we don't care about Eradicate here. It's got these big old fangs that it can chomp into you using like moves like Super Fang and Hyper Fang. It's also got Bite, Quick Attack, Takedown, Crunch, Double Edge, and then a bunch of teams that it can learn. Then there is Bidoof. Skipping a few generations of Gen 4, one of the most memed Pokemon, period, right up there with Mudkip. Bidoof is a beaver who also has, I don't know if fangs is the right word for a beaver, but it looks like Rattata's same teeth. So, fuck it. Bidoof becomes a bee barrel later on, normal water, but for now it's just normal, and that's all we care about. And it's got moves like Tackle, Rollout, Headbutt, Crunch, Yawn, Super Fang, Super Power, and then, some TMs and shit, and you could logically probably give it some water. And then there's Bunnelby, skipping forward another couple gens. Is a bunny. I said bunny instead of Bunnelby, probably. I don't even know. But it's close enough. It's a normal type, again, and it later on will become Diggersby, normal ground, but we don't care about Diggersby. In fact, Diggersby is ugly. I'll fucking say it. Bunnelby, some of its moves, it's got Tackle, Mud Slap, Mud Shot, Double Kick, Dig, Bulldoze, Bounce, Takedown, Super Fang, and Earthquake. A lot of ground stuff in there because of B-Barrel. Not B-Barrel, fuck. Diggersby. Ha! And then there's Lechonk, the pig. Not really a rodent, but, whatever. Eventually it will become an Oinkloin, which is one of my least favorite Pokemon names. It's just awkward for me to say. I'm not a fan. But stays pure normal. And it's got moves like Tackle, Tail Whip, Disarming Voice, Echoed Voice, Mudshot again, Dig, Headbutt, Takedown, Uproar. The only one of them not to learn Super Fang by level up, interestingly. And then, of course, TMs and shit. So, wow, that is a shiny sprite. It is very pink. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, it's a pig piggy.
It's a big old. That makes a lot of sense.
It's actually another
Makes a
shiny
lot of
I'm
sense.
okay with because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Me and Zantok were talking right before about Smolive's shiny, how it has like instead of a green olive, they changed it to a black olive. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I think that is a great design.
Yeah. And so with three
Wow.
of these, we have like 3 quadrupeds, 1 biped. And then Bunnelby, well, you might think like it can use its little arms to attack, it actually uses its ears more often than not to attack.
Oh, good.
So there's something unique for that one.
It's like Twin Bell, but a bunny.
Like what?
Arms. You can
Oh,
put
Twin
Bunnelby in
Tail.
arms.
I see. I
Yeah.
didn't know what you had said. All right. So, what do you guys think about these four? I gave the opening spiel, listed out some attacks each of them have. What you thinking?
I like when Bidoof flexes its arms.
That's God Emperor Bidoof. When I'm talking about
Yeah.
God Emperor
Yeah.
Bidoof, I'm talking about Bidoof.
So the thing with Bidoof, I guess we're starting with Bidoof now. Bidoof does have that meme status, which I think makes it a pretty, it gives it a good wild card status. Like a random, like everyone's like, Bidoof, right, right, and that, or there's some people are gonna be like, yes, Bidoof. But yeah, so
Yeah.
It's the
you know,
Doofster.
and it would be kind of funny.
Yeah. Any of these four would
So
be funny. I'll just say
any of
that.
these four would be a
Mhm.
weird one, but I think Bidoof would be
I would
would be a
take any of
funny
these
choice.
four over Quaquaval.
Yeah,
Or
honestly.
Tinkaton? How dare you?
No, Tinkaton first. Fuck you. I'd take any of these four over Incineroar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. Fuck that guy.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah. But yeah, Bidoof's big stepping stone is its meme popularity. Uh, they can do really funny jokes with its animations because he's just such a. I mean, it's in his name. He's a doof.
He's
He's
such
a
a potato.
doofy little thing.
Yeah.
And then normal is the primary type for all 4 of these. Um, and Bidoof, like, well, it doesn't necessarily learn water moves its natural form. Its evolution does, and you could just like take from that because I mean, why not? Pikachu learns
Mhm.
things that a Pikachu doesn't learn. So like you could throw in
Yeah.
water gun or maybe not aqua jet, but water gun would make some sense, or maybe water pulse.
Mhm.
Rattata, meanwhile, is just normal and dark type moves. It doesn't really get anything else outside of TMs.
Yeah.
Bunnelby has normal, ground, and then 1 flying and 1 fighting. And I think Diggersby gets more ground. And then Lechonk is pure normal, but it also learns a fairy move and 2 ground type moves outside of TMs. So
Oh,
they all have
nice.
a little bit of variety. I think Rattata would be like the most basic of the 4, because even its dark type moves are basically just, bite, crunch,
Right.
assurance, sucker punch. But Rattata's big argument is, hey, we're Gen 1. Without me, none of y'all would be here. And
Mhm.
people like their, top percentage of Rattata jokes.
Right. Bidoof and Lechonk, I would say, would have the hardest time being animated to work really well for a lot of moves because it would just look weird because their body shapes.
Yeah.
Like, which works in Pokemon okay because a lot of times, like, the water spout just kind of appears and goes. Whereas, like, in Smash, it would have to come from it, like, so that
I mean,
does
you can
give them a
open its
little bit of a
mouth.
negative. Yeah, it does give them a little bit of a negative. But with Rattata, Rattata, however you want to say it, I like Rattata because it's more fun to say.
I think that's what
It
the
does have
anime says
the
it, so.
yeah, it does have the Alolan version too, which could also be another skin version, but is kind of getting 2 for 1 type deal. And like you said, Gen 1, which does help it out a lot.
Yeah. Like, I think Bidoof and Lechonk do have the hardest animation wise. I don't think it's necessarily because of things like where does water gun come from? Because I think like just open its mouth. And as far as like Lechonk, uh, its other moves would be like echoed voice, where it's like okay, Again, oh, it's not even if you give it something like flamethrower, which it doesn't look like it learns, but even then, like it could just like go out its nose. Fuck it, who
Mhm.
cares?
Mhm.
It's Pokemon. Bunnelby though would be the easiest of the four to figure out animation wise because it's bipedal. It's actually got
Yeah.
arms, and then it's got its hand ears that it can
Yeah.
smack you around with.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
Rattata, it's a little bit easier than Bidoof and Lechonk. I think it's still like harder animation wise, but its limbs are more manageable because they're more of like a limb, whereas Bidoof's like little stubs and Lechonk is hooves, really. And the
Mhm.
Rattata even has its tail that it can bash you with, whereas Bidoof just has like a little bit of fluff and Lechonk has a little curl. They can't do anything with their tails. Rattata could.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean the Gen 1 factor, I mean for me it almost almost makes me want to vote against it just out of sheer bias. It's like, oh, well, another Gen 1 and it's a rat.
Right.
Not Gengar?
R-
Come on.
Rattata, if you will. Um, that, and I think it has like the most bog standard set of moves that it naturally learns. Like, of course, it's Gen 1. I'm curious on how it would use Sucker Punch, I guess, with its tail. Um, but I mean, other than that, it's kind of like you take what you get from it, and like it's everything you expect because it's the progenitor starter, not starter, normal type
Yeah.
Pokemon. Which is also a pro, like as you've already mentioned. So that's interesting. It's also interesting because these Pokemon share so much of the same general ideas, typing, move capability. I'm learning now that kind of the minutia. It's like the little things, that they could do differently because so much of their DNA is shared in the moves they learn. That's kind of so. I'm actually, if I were to choose one right now in this moment, not saying that we don't have a lot of discussion to go, it probably would be Bunnelby because it's the most unique. It's bipedal, which most Smash characters are, but in this case, with the ears and the arms and the this and I like that. I like that.
Allow
With
me to throw a
Bunnelby,
wrench in.
oh, go ahead.
I'm looking at sprites. And
Hmm.
Alolan Rattata, which granted is not the same thing as normal Rattata, but Alolan Rattata
Hmm.
stands up. And that's its normal sprite in Sun and Moon and also the Let's Go games.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to say that regular Rattata could not do the exact same thing.
Hmm. Oh, why does it have that mustache?
Yeah, that's why I don't like Alolan Rattata.
Oh, and
It's
also when
still
it
better than
stands,
Alolan Persian.
it look yeah, it looks weird. Like I'm kind of creeped out by this thing standing. Like the way it moves, it's just not. It's disconcerting. My eyes hurt. But yes.
I was gonna say for Bunnelby, of the four, that is quite the picture. Bunnelby, though, for me, is of this group is the most forgettable of the four. And I think, like, and I just kind of went to look and see, like, if it really appeared much in anything besides, obviously the games, and not really. It hasn't really been done with anything. I would have a hard time seeing this one be a popular choice because I feel like of the four, it's also like you're gonna find less people
Oh
that say,
yeah.
"Oh, Bunnelby's my favorite."
Oh yeah.
Where like Baneri, I could see that having more favorites than Bunnelby.
Well, I
So
mean that's not fair. Lopunny exists.
I said Baneri, not
The
Lopunny.
internet, yeah, but it bleeds over. The
True. If
internet's
you went
fucking
by
weird.
also what they evolved into, then Baneri is or Bunnelby is doomed because Diggersby is trash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Diggersby digs some trash.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's an interesting Pokemon. Yeah,
No,
great.
it's not.
Right.
Good.
Uh,
Yeah, but
with
yeah.
And then Lechonk, I mean, everyone was pretty excited about the pig.
Mhm.
However, the thing with Lechonk, he is just a pig. Like, I mean, I guess all these are pretty much just what their animal is for the most part. He is just a pig. I did have one and I did a Nuzlocke and I got it to Oinkalona. It was very strong actually. But it was kind of one of the first, I think, big ones for Scarlet and Violet when it was introduced that people were like, "Oh my God,
Big.
this thing is," and it's called the Chonk. Let's go! You know, people were excited about
Yeah,
it.
they were.
Um, it's a pretty memorable Pokemon as
Mhm.
well. And its shiny is fantastic. Um, whereas all their other ones are not so great. But yeah, and so I mean, it hasn't had time to really get into other things, but I could see it getting some other love as well. So I mean, it didn't get a day from like the Pokemon Company like Bidoof did. There's literally a Bidoof day. Uh,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
it's July 1st. Apparently, I was looking up stuff. It's July
Perfect.
Should have
1st.
been April
It all
1st.
it also it also got its own standalone short. Bidoof did.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Bidoof's big
Amazing.
stand.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But Pokemon saw the memes for Bidoof. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we could market this.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
I like how Lechonk is also apparently, I mean, at least per its typing, like in the Pokedex, they're writing like, oh, it spurns all but the finest food. So I like that Lechonk is
He's a gourmet.
a pig with standards. Very
Yeah.
yeah. It's that's kind of
He's like,
funny.
how dare you
Speaking of
feed this trash to me? I'm a
yeah
pig. And you're like,
yeah, if
wait,
you
hold on.
if you invoke that personality into the character in Smash, that'd be kind of entertaining. Hmm.
Mhm.
And Bidoof, good lord.
Poor Bidoof.
Yeah, that's great to think about. It's great that he's just here and
That's right.
just has a shot. Slap him with the old tail. Bam. Build a dam with that thing, why don't you?
It damn well could.
Yeah. Damn.
Damn. All right.
Actually,
Hmm?
I just kind of looked at Rattata really hasn't gotten anything either. I mean, it's been in more games, obviously, but it hasn't had any like fancy things with it as well.
I think it's like the biggest moment for Rattata, I think, is the Pokemon Adventures manga, which even then it's not big, but it was owned by like one of the main characters, Yellow,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
and then eventually it evolved into Raticates, which stayed on their team. It just wasn't a rat. Didn't get to do a whole lot as a Rattata.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, Ratata's thing is that it's again, it just comes back to being the largest presence, I guess. Overall, like by merit of history, how long it's been a thing.
Yep.
But you know, like Bidoof and Lechonk made more of a social impact. Like at the end of the day, I think Rattata is more of like it feels like more of just its animal than those other two like goofy things.
Yeah, I mean that's how for the most part that's like a lot of Gen 1. Other gens have some of that too. Like again, Lechonk's just a pig.
Hmm.
Bidoof's just a
Yeah,
beaver. Beat
yeah.
Barrel is a
But they're
bigger beaver.
funny. But
Hmm.
they're so funny.
Hmm. Like
Rattata's just
Bunnelby
kind of
is
like
the
a
only one of
thing.
these that like kind of breaks out of that mold just a little bit. And that's even then again,
Hmm.
that's mainly its evolution, and it's really just because of the ears.
Yeah,
Generally,
and
generally like the normal type rodent at the start of a generation is basically just the animal. Gen 2 doesn't have
mhm,
one. But then Gen 3 is Zigzagoon, which is, you know,
mhm.
then Gen 5 is Pat Rat, which I refuse to do in this. Gen 7 gives us Alolan Rattata and Young Goose. And then
Oh
Gen 8 gives us
boy.
Squirrelbit, who I wish I liked. Because Squirrel. But I don't really. But they're all
Young Goose
basically
already
just a
is
thing.
popular enough in the West right now.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So
It's a
these four,
Pokemon. Yeah.
3 of them can bite. 3 of them
One
can
is.
roll.
Mm-hmm.
1 of them can bounce. 2 of them can do earth stuff. 1 can do water stuff. The other one is a little. They're all little shits. They're all little shits. Look,
One of them
they're
is Myths from Mario 64.
yeah, that's true.
Especially the Star Bunnies in Galaxy. It looks a lot like that.
Yeah. What are we thinking here? Because like, I see merit to all 4 of these. I think I might see a
Yeah.
little bit less merit in 2 of them. I kind of feel like I might have a lean, but I think all 4 of them could feasibly work. Just some of them might be a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit more difficult.
Right. I have
Mm-hmm.
one one of these 4. I think just for me would be like the easiest to toss out. Like just doesn't seem. I think for Smash just doesn't fit. It just doesn't work for me.
Which one's
And
that?
that would be Bunnelby.
Really?
I just don't think it would be a good choice. Like it's again, like I said, the fact that it's the most forgettable of these, I think really hurts it here.
Okay.
I know I would say though of the 4, like I said, it does have the best like design to be an attacker and things,
Mm-hmm.
but it just won't like people won't be like, yeah, Bunnelby. They'll be like, why did you waste a spot with Bunnelby?
Yeah. I don't think it would be quite Piranha Plant levels, but it would be like, oh, yeah, it would be tepid.
That's
Like,
fair.
it's just like, oh, there, yeah.
Like
Yeah. I was wondering if that's what we should do.
when you were saying that, I wasn't sure like which Pokemon you were gonna say. I wasn't expecting Bunnelby because I was thinking, in terms of like animation wise and like fitting into a fighting game, Bunnelby is the best option from that standpoint, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think of the 4, it would be the least exciting
Mm-hmm.
to see be revealed. Be like, what? Like Rattata? Oh yeah, the original rat.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Bidoof. Bidoof.
I would be
Dude.
laughing my ass off.
And then Lechonk. It's the newest
Yeah.
one, and also
Yeah.
as a chunky pig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think all 3 of them have more merit in that respect.
Right. And to what to what extent is Bunnelby just like a less interesting Cinderace? Even though
Also,
I don't care about Cinderace.
I'd agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't.
Or
Like
if you went by like
although I
if you
would
went by
rather have Bunnelby
starters,
over Cinderace.
Me too, in an odd way. I'm just kind of reflecting the voice of the people. But I do wonder if that's how we do approach this.
Mhm.
Is like find a consensus on one to just say get out, and then then we have the 3.
we could tell it to bounce would be what I
Yeah.
would tell it, but
Yeah. I don't know. I could theoretically have leans right now too for like the 2 that I would put in. But I think it might
I'm
be
not sure
more
how you guys usually do this. Do you usually start with one that you all like agree, like you feel like that is my number 1, I think they should go through, or do you eliminate and get rid of one first?
Normally, actually,
really
just
just
get to the
depends.
end and be like, okay, what 2 are we thinking? And then it's just like whoever gets the most votes.
Oh.
Well, we've trashed on Bunnelby like so much though.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that being said, we have to
It's-
always do the battle royales in the same way. I mean,
Yeah, that's also very true. I do stand with what Lister said though about Bunnelby being the most realizable, like just body type wise. Fighting with the ears is kind of fun and entertaining. I do like that. So that's where the merit goes for Bunnelby. But to agree with Way Off, the character is just less of a presence.
Mhm.
There's Gen 1 for Rattata, there's the meme for Bidoof, and there's recency and the meme for Lechonk. You know, so so I understand that argument. I'm kind of feeling. I mean, if just to toss it out there, I might as well say I am very interested in Lechonk being playable if it were realizable. I mean, I think that the thing is, it's the most. It has a very interesting personality. It has a cute design. People love it. It's recent. It's cool. But then it's also like, if I always have had more of a fluid mindset when it comes to translating a character into Smash. I'm just like, even if I can't think of it right now, I know that if they put their heads into it, they would do it. They would realize it. It would be fine. It would work. It's always the pushback from Zantok on those things. I'm like, let's put Epona in this game, and he's like, why? How?
How?
Yeah. So
I definitely
yeah,
more like, if I can't envision it, then I can't build
yeah,
it, because I need to be able to
yeah,
like
and
write down and describe how a thing moves. If I can't do
right.
that,
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm like, let's put in just a giant squid into Smash. Let's write a whole moveset about it and put it online.
yeah, he did that
Yes,
recently, and I'm
so
mad at him for it.
that's where we differ. And there again, there's pros and cons to both of those viewpoints, and we balance each other out. Because I mean, there was a time when you couldn't realize Ridley in Smash, and it happened.
Yeah, fair.
So Lechonk, I think, could happen. It would be less of a behoovement to put Lechonk and his hooves in than Epona, I would say.
No, yeah, I'll pick the chunk before I pick Epona any day.
Oh, I don't know, but I don't know about picking, but just realizing the moveset, sure. So Lechonk is kind of my mind's eye is like, if I could argue for this pig, I will. That's where my bias is right now.
I think like I look towards Rattata a lot for the novelty of it's the original. Making Musa out of a rat is just a funny
Hmm.
notion to me.
You can make it
Is
do the red
there
things.
not a whole lot you can do with them? Yes, but also there's nothing like this yet. So either way, it's going to be new territory. So it's not like we'd be like, oh, it's already similar to Pichu, because no, it's fucking not. None of these four have anything that they could be compared to in Smash proper that they would be like too similar to. It's just not a thing.
Hmm.
So even
Yeah.
there's like Rattata's like Menalty that's being the original, and then I like Bidoof because I could see it doing like a rollout or getting a surprising water gun type attack out of this guy.
Building a
And
dam, yes.
the big part of it's just like something like I talk about sometimes is when it comes to like doing taunts and animations, a character's personality and what you can come up with that. Of these four, Bidoof has the most personality that they could pull into that. It's a doof.
Flexing,
Goofy
yeah.
goober. You can do silly little things.
Rock.
Bunnelby, its best argument is the ears. That gives you
Hmm.
more versatility than any of the other three. It's the most realizable from an animation standpoint by far. I do agree that it is the least exciting Pokemon wise of all four of them, because like
Hmm.
the other three are just like cooler Pokemon just generally, and X and Y is like kind of midpoint now, more or less. Not exactly midpoint, but it's still in the newer half. But X and
Hmm.
Y was also kind of weird because there are only 89, I think 89, maybe it was 91, new Pokemon released in that gen. And Bunnelby would not be anywhere near the top of the discussion
Hmm.
board of ones that people just talking about Pokemon in general. And then there's
Yeah.
Lechonk, new kid on the block. I think the hardest to make work animation wise, but I think there's still things you could do with it. I don't know about normal attacks. I actually kind of struggle to think of those. But ramming attacks, headbutts, rollout, dig,
Mm-hmm.
disarming voice coming out from in front of it. There's things you can do with that there too.
Hmm.
Personally, I think Lechonk would be my fourth. just because I have a harder time envisioning it working in the game, moving around, attacking, and whatnot. Whereas the other three, I see things being easier. I think Bidoof is the next hardest. Bunnelby is the easiest, and Rattata is the second easiest, and Rattata has its status of the OG.
Mm-hmm. I think the most interesting thing about Bunnelby is that it does turn into Diggersby, and it's like a tragedy. You can make a story out of that.
It's a
Shakespearean.
Shakespearean tragedy
Yeah,
is Bunnelby.
precisely. Look at me.
Man, they need to do an anime episode, whether it's Bunnelby or something else, where it's like the Pokemon, like the trainer was their Pokemon evolved. The Pokemon's just like, no, I will become ugly. I don't want to become a Diggersby. They're
Right.
disgusting. It'd be funny.
I don't want to turn into Incineroar.
I don't want to be a Quaxwell or a Quaquaval.
Right?
Yeah,
Stays a
right.
Quaxley forever.
I don't
There
want to
you
be
go.
a Brion.
Yeah.
Can I just skip the Primarina?
Right.
Uh,
I don't want to be a Licky
Yeah.
Licky.
I would say I like Bidoof the most out of these four,
Mhm.
purely because of its mostly because of its popularity, and I think it would generate the most excitement.
Unquestionably.
It would be a
Unquestionably.
little harder to animate, but I think like if you just went like you're like, hey, this character is a meme. Like if you went that route and it was doing things in that way, like Bidoof flying, like it's not
Mhm.
supposed to fly, but the meme lets it fly. You know, like it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to fit the, like it doesn't have to have wings to fly. You could do so much, I think, with it if you just went the meme route. And so then the animated part for it, I think, would be not as bad. Lechonk,
Mhm.
I do agree, I think would be the hardest to do anything with.
Mhm.
And Rattata does have that first gen, and I think you can do a little bit more with him. And again,
Yeah.
like I said with
Yeah.
Bunnelby, I don't like Bunnelby here. He's just boring.
Yeah, I do love Bidoof. I mean, and I can see the animations, like the walking and the running. It's not that hard to picture for me. Just have its little limbs kind of just all splay out while it's hopping around. Um, I could see it doing things like roll out and curling up and sitting down and chewing on a log, whatever, beaver stuff.
And just think of its taunt, like the Bidoof noise at you for its taunt. Like you're gonna be like, I got that thing is making fun of me.
Yeah. Ah, if only Cricketune were playable by that same
Oh
measure.
God,
He's
right?
hilarious.
That would be a fun taunt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spam. I would spam the hell out of that. Most
Me
people would.
too. Me too.
Um,
I spam
yeah,
Kirby's
yeah,
hello hi all the time. Huh?
yeah,
Hi.
Huh?
yeah.
Huh?
I spam Baby Eric's side special. I think I lost you there.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know it.
Yeah, I don't know why you use jokes when people don't know them.
gosh, it's self love. Something that tickles my brain. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Um, yeah, I'm kind of Okay, we're at this point. I think that the sensible, idea here is this. Then there's a lot of opposition to Bunnelby. There just is from Way Off. Zantok and Way Off have this, and I'm not excited. I don't care about Bunnelby. Like with that much pushback, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then you
Well, we could
have
have voted.
Lechonk. Yeah, that's true. But and then Lechonk is just again, both of you guys are like, I can't fully grasp this with its body type. I'm like, okay, well, my compromise on Lechonk would be just doing Bidoof then because it's a very funny Pokemon with personality, and it's yeah,
That's kind of where I'm at. It's
I
like
could,
if you go
yeah,
Bidoof, you shouldn't go Lechonk, and if you go Lechonk, you don't go Bidoof. And I kind of
yeah,
like those two. Like to me, like they seem like they have to be. You get one. It's kind of in my head how it works with those two because they're
mm-hmm,
both more on the meme side, and you don't want to go purely that. So you get
yeah,
one would be my thought process
Well,
there.
and then following that trail, my final thought on this all is you balance out the memery with the most grounded choice, which is Rattata.
Right. And usually I'm way off trail, but it's fine.
Yeah, for once you're actually on the trail.
Right.
Yeah,
Congratulations, you're not getting lost tonight. You'll actually be able to eat.
Yay, food.
Popcorn.
But yeah,
Popcorn.
Jonno pretty much just said like I think where most people expected this to go, Rattata and Bidoof.
That's where I
That's-
lean.
Yeah.
That's where I expected it to go from the very beginning when we said we're going to do this shit episode for some reason. That's very entertaining to me. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, wow, we've gotten to this point where we're talking about these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I enjoyed it.
yeah,
for the meme.
like I think they're
Yeah.
both serviceable. I think Bunnelby is very serviceable as well, but it's the least exciting of them. Nobody really talks about Bunnelby, whereas people talk about the other three. And granted, this isn't
Mhm.
rate their chances. This is us picking whatever the hell we want.
Mhm.
But even then, I would still be more excited by Rattata and Bidoof than Bunnelby. I'd probably pick
Same.
Bunnelby over
Oh, yeah.
Lechonk, personally.
Mhm.
Whereas the internet went crazy over Lechonk, I personally never did. I think it's okay. I'm not gonna go fucking insane over it though. But Rattata and Bidoof, they make sense to me as the two picks.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They are my two picks,
Yeah.
I think, here too.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, sometimes I was interested to see where this went with Way Off here to discuss it, because maybe we could have found a coalition behind one of these more offbeat choices. But as it goes, sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice.
Yep.
Yeah, and the kid like Lechonk, I think is going to be another one where he is popular for this gen, but when the next gen comes along, he kind of will fade into
Yeah.
that forgottenness.
That's
Whereas
fair.
Rattata hasn't, Bidoof hasn't.
Yeah.
Bunnelby definitely has.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do see like Lechonk was like, oh cool, we got a pig, but I think that was the main thing for Lechonk. And then it will be the next whenever we get to the next gen, it'll be oh cool, we got and Lechonk will be long forgotten.
Let me give
It'll
one
let-
final
yeah.
argument for Bunnelby. Pokemon Legends Z to A. What if we got Mega Diggersby? And then Bunnelby just surges in popularity.
We still get rid of Bunnelby because no one wants Mega Diggersby. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you just weakened it. I think you just weakened Bunnelby there.
Ah, man, poor little guy. Back to the dumpster you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can start digging around. He can evolve.
Yeah.
But that's
Well-
that. That is the end of our Smash or Dash Pokemon Rodent plus Lechonk extravaganza.
Right.
Rattata and Bidoof, who probably everybody was like, yeah, these two. They're the winners. We'll see them again at the end of this season when we go through our what's it called? Tournament of Champions.
Tournament
We
of
get there,
Champions.
and we do all these
Oh.
Smash Dash winners, we put them in a tournament bracket. That'll
All
happen.
right.
But before,
I wonder about their chances indeed.
I say, I don't vote. It doesn't bode well for them, I feel. But good luck.
who knows? But before that, next time on Super Cast Brothers, it's gonna be
I thought this was the part where you give your guest like a bunch of money for showing up on the.
with what money do you
No,
think we can
you guys
pay
don't. You guys don't do that. Free car or
Figuratively, I can give you money.
Heck,
Oh,
I do have something I can give you.
oh. That's just, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, saw that.
Again,
Yeah.
sometimes the obvious is the right thing. Like,
Yeah,
like right
yeah.
there.
I can give you another poll force you to play a game.
Oh, yeah.
I know you just
We-
did that with Hades, but I can give you another one.
Yeah, I beat that game, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
noticed-
give you
I
this-
saw you gave 2 episodes the same title. I was like,
Yeah,
you should
I
fix
gotta-
this.
I'm
Oops.
probably not going to, but I might. We'll see.
I have this Cold Stone Creamery gift card I can send you. It has like $2 on it.
Ooh.
You even
Yeah,
have one of those
there you
near where
go.
you
I was gonna
live?
say, I feel like
Yeah.
the closest one has
Yeah.
got to be like 2 hours away.
The closest one's gonna be in like Chicago.
Right, I know. I was like, I have no idea where that closest would be. Now I've got to look while you end
You
this.
do
I'll
that.
look it up so people know how far.
Yeah. But next time on Super Cash Flows, it'll be the very first on topic since the Switch 2 presentation.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about it. We're actually, I don't think we should spoil that. All I'll say is that Jonno and I, we're gonna be talking about it because we're gonna be recording it the next, that episode is gonna be recorded the day after the presentation. It's gonna be very fresh in our minds. And we should have some fun thoughts, hopefully, depending on what the presentation is like. I mean, if it's just another camera panning around a fucking console and nothing else, then it's going to be very boring. We might do something else for the episode, but...
it's been years since we started this show, and in that time, yeah, I think I can finally say that we'll be getting closer to each other.
That's
personally. Mano y mano.
Wait, did you find out where Cold Stone was?
Actually, it's closer than I thought. An hour 15 minutes.
Oh shit!
Oh, the closest one to me is 40 minutes away, so not that bad. Not
the
that
closest one to
difference.
me is probably like 10 minutes. I need to go look.
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere.
It's yeah, it's pretty fucking close.
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere.
10 minutes.
So, Yeah.
It's right by a barbecue place, apparently.
That's like if I'm going
it's
wherever
this Crumble.
If I'm going to Cold Stone, that means I'm making a day out of wherever I'm going there, because that means like that's a day's journey. We're pretty much doing
just spend the day at Cold Stone, yeah.
Right, the whole day. Just keep eating ice cream.
Like I've got $2 right here.
Right. What does this buy me? And they're like, here's a spoonful of ice cream. Just one spoonful. Like, oh.
Here's the free sample.
Yeah, it's the free sample.
We technically give this for free, but since you offered us $2,
right?
$2 is for the shitty little spoon.
They just take it and put it in their tip jar, and then just give me the little it's the regular spoon sample.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Good Lord.
And with that, we're gonna go ahead and enjoy some Cold Stone Vanillites. We'll see you all in another episode, maybe. Get the hell out of my house.
I get a vanilla instead.
No.
Well, see you in 4 years.
You
way
can't
off.
eat people way off. Jesus Christ!
Talk to you then.
You?
Talk to you in 2029.
Right? Yeah.